guys, I just thought I'd do a quick live because I did one last night on Instagram and it cut out, the battery went, so the live didn't stick, and maybe sort of repeat some of the things that would have been lost from that live. So last night, and to check in with everyone and see how the eclipse was for them. I know a lot of people, myself included, it was cloudy, so didn't actually see it when it was happening. And but the moon looked beautiful after it had happened. It felt like clarity, and I felt there was a significance in this, certainly personally. I don't know about you guys, so let me know what resonates with you. But I've been seeing like people talking about the eclipses as a negative thing, as a dark thing, chaos, magic, and I don't feel that. I feel like, yes, there is a lot going on in the world, and I think collectively there is some truth to some of that. But for those of us that are kind of already on this path, already very connected, already in sync with nature, it's been quite a beautiful energy, certainly so far. There's this sense of the dream coming true, the dream like kind of bringing the dream to reality going on in my life, and I see it in others talking about it in their life. So let me know if that's happening for you, firstly. Secondly, I wanted to be around water, with it being Pisces full moon, and through not my own but through family arrangements, we ended up being in Margate in Kent in the UK, and we never got to go on the beach. It's got a beautiful sandy beach there. There was some stuff happening there anyway, that's irrelevant. So I asked if we could stop off, and we stopped off in Minster, so kind of just outside of Reculver on the way back. And I went and I dipped my feet in the water, which is what I felt I'd needed to do all day. And that felt significant. It felt like a purification. It's an ancient ritual that was done for in Kermet, that when people had been on a long journey, they would wash their feet. And I did a post on this, it sort of mentioned about this, about washing, and this at the bottom of our feet, the soles, it's our connection to the ground. I've been wearing these barefoot shoes as well to try and feel the floor more, wanting and that needing almost to feel that connection, knowing I'm feeling that connection. So and picked up some shells, and there's some beautiful ones. I will do a post. I've got one that's a shell, but it's like a hagstone. It's got like a hole that you can, and I thought, well, that's beautiful. Felt like little gifts. And there was this sense of, are you seeing the signs that I'd written in the post, and that Sabrina Lynn had mentioned. And it was like synchronicity on steroids is what I'm going to say, and I wanted to just check in with you guys to see if you're feeling it too. So I ask a question, a song comes on in the car on the way home, and it answers with the words, and it's like not all of the words, not the whole song, but it was lighting up but the ones that were relevant, and I was instantaneously knowing, yeah, that word is an answer, and that's what we're getting at, like a conversation through the music. I often get that with messages, but this was so strong. And then all these funny little synchronicities, like there was a street called Arthur Street, obviously Arthur seat, sovereignty, and the I am present, stepping into the I ams. That felt relevant for this month, as I've said about, and this sense of transformation and jumping, I was saying about jumping through into the self-conscious rather than waiting till you have your fingers chopped off, and like questioning, and then at the same sense surrendering everything to the divine, because knowing deeply that you can't, one of the things that had come through is that you can't control it. You can't control the uncontrollable. You need to get into the flow of what's right. So that really felt significant. And seeing the word Arthur, and then we go through, and then like this morning, it's continued. It feels like this energy is here to stay. So then I see 111, 1444, 1444, 144,000 is this symbol magic, and keep hearing these things coming up, and this about the telepathy. And I've been listening to, and I highly recommend the podcast, the telepathy tapes, No, you're behaving. All right, Summer, are you going to sit with me? Yeah? This is your daddy being a naughty boy. Larry, you behaving? Autumn? Well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 cats. Anyway, I'm shortly going to go live. That's why I came out here to go live for Meditation Monday. But I just thought I would just, the things that got lost in the live, and this synchronicity was one of them, and wondered if you are feeling that, if you're feeling this sense of the shifts are here, and it's been beautiful weather as well, considering there's a change in the season. You can feel the coolness coming in, you can feel this, but it's still this late summer and this light. And the moment I saw the moon, obviously I hadn't seen it in its the eclipse part, but it was almost like I didn't need to see what was being unseen, because I feel like there's an irrelevance to that personally. And I'm not saying that's for everyone. I think there's a lot of stuff that's unseen and that's going to be seen in the world, and I'm not saying I know everything by all means, but I think a lot of that I'm already aware of, and I think so are you if you're on here. And kind of not it's not about what like the better than, or the levels of frequency, or the peanut all of that in itself is like a judgment. It's even the 3D kind of concept. I feel there's an awakening that's going beyond, and this is why I mentioned the telepathy tapes, because I feel that's where we're heading towards. And I know for some people that is a big ask, a big jump, but obviously because of my own personal experience, imagine, I want to put this to you, imagine that if we were in a room and we could hear each other's thoughts. We're vulnerable on one level, but also you can hear how vulnerable people are. When you see that people like that, is this mirror, you see the dark, you see the light, you see it through like face value. It's a revealing of the masks. And with all of these like philosophical energy containers around this eclipse, with Hecate and Medusa, and letting go of our mask, that's the biggest mask we could ever let go of. It's opening up to a rareity that is scary, it's fearful. And I was asked this morning about, it's obviously business luncheon thing, that who is your ideal client? I said, I never know this question. And I said, well, I know what I want to do and how I want to serve, though. I know that my mum suffered when her awakening was happening. She suffered with like almost going nuts, and I too was doubting, was questioning. And I don't think that that's wrong to, like, if you start hearing voices in the mental health industry, people are likely to label you as being crazy. So there's this witch wound that comes with that, that you start talking about certain things and people perceived you a certain way. And this is about the mask, and I feel this sense of no more masks. I'm being in our power is we're stepping into that. It is a vulnerable place to speak about stuff that is scary, to speak up about our truth and what's right for us. And as long as we're doing it through love, and compassion and kindness, that we're not going, this is my truth and this is all there is, and shoving our energy onto someone. And I think that's really important to know, because, and I dealt with this obviously with the Qigong and the shaking a tree. I've spoken about this before, that there was masculine energy that was coming in, that was perving, that was, and I was saying it was, in doing so, your energy is being shoved. And I feel that energy in the way, in the wording, however it's terminology, it's making people feel uncomfortable. And I think this is a theme that's happening in the 3D world, about people being taken advantage of, very physical threat there. And it's easy for the people online to just kind of feel like they're not doing anything wrong, they're not in the room. But actually it's energetics about it, it's still distortion. And it's important to be in our own boundaries and be in our own skin. And all of that comes into the conversation about when we're open. Like I said, imagine, if you will, that you could see all our faults. And I encourage people to speak from the heart, from their truth, to not negate from the emotions and things coming up. There's a lot of grief in the next 6 months that's going to be present, because not necessarily from death, possibly for some, but because we're letting go of old systems, we're letting go of an old way of seeing things that we're very attached to in some ways, a lot of us. So it's about moving and stepping into that new, jumping off the boat, Sedna, rather than hanging on and having to have the father, the masculine air, cut our fingers off. It's going willingly into the depths of your soul and the unknown, the unseen, to bring up, to come back up, the mortal becoming the immortal, because we are. And all these themes step into who we are as a being, darling, but also being in the moment, being present, being with loved ones, the balance of everyday life. All of that's important. So, yeah, let me know how you feel this eclipse. Do you feel there's been a sense of, of like a shift, a change? And the other thing I mentioned in the live, and this to go live at the time, was about, there's the movie Le Chocolat with Johnny Depp, starring in with Johnny Depp, and it's based on a book by Joanna Harris that I've actually read as well as watched the movie. But in the movie they have this bit where she's like talking, the narrator's talking about the winds of change coming. And whenever I feel the wind, I hear that narrator in that extract from that movie, every time I hear they say about the systems, the winds of change and the seasons as they change. And I really do feel that's what this is about. But this is within the soul. This is like a tornado in the soul. And these are the themes we're going to tackle in today's Meditation Monday. If that resonates, hop on over to my YouTube channel to watch the video. It's donation based, so most people, you guys, are on my channel anyway, but so don't have to give anything. If you wish to, then it's received with love to help me keep creating. So love and blessings. And yeah, so the week ahead, points, what did I speak about in the meditation this morning in our live class? To remember. Lightning bolts. We were talking about lightning bolts, and the visual of allowing clarities to come to you, allowing that to work with this beautiful red. I'm wearing red as well for this purpose. This morning I was drawn to wear for our lower dantian and this area of the to ground in highlight, high shifts, high change, but starting with the creation energy, working with the creation energy so that we can allow those dreams to come in to reality. So my love and blessings, and thank you for your time and for listening. I'm Tresa Jande, Tree Heart Art Design Authentic, or Love Authentic Me.